As we know, we're very spontaneous. And so we're right here with the ducks.
We're gonna do it.
We're gonna do it. Okay.
I think this is gonna work.
Okay.
I'm gonna be good at it.
We're gonna be great. Okay, we'll see you in the duck or the swan.
In the duck.
Never know.
See you in the duck.
Hey, it's Althea,
And Maya.
and welcome to our podcast with our powers combined. This is wild. Where are we?
Well, we are in Monterey on a paddle boat
Currently pedaling backwards.
because we're experts at paddle boats.
We are.
Fun
Apparently.
fact. And we're just here to have a good time.
Here we go. Okay.
So, obviously, this is not our usual format, but you'll find out more about that in the next episode. But today, we are excited because we are officially halfway through the year.
Happy halfway through the year.
We are halfway through. We've been podcasting for 6 months now.
Yes.
And we thought it would be fun to do a Q&A. And we have a lot of fun questions that we're gonna go over and we're gonna get the details for. So join us as we answer your questions to get to know us, our podcasting, and just all the fun stuff, while we also happen to be in a duck.
In the middle of Monterey.
I think it'll be good.
I think it'll be fun.
Yeah. All right, so first question that we have is, why did you start a podcast?
Why
Which-
did we start
A fair question. We actually sneak peek at the end of the year. We're going to release an episode that we recorded before we had done anything.
It's a secret
It's
episode.
a secret episode, so stick around.
Watch out.
So we do talk a little bit about it in the secret episode, but honestly, it kind of started as a joke.
It did. It started as a bit. Hence the first episode.
The power of bit within friendship.
Yes.
Yeah, it was definitely started as us just saying off and on, we're funny. We should do a podcast, like kind of as a joke. And then we realized more and more, maybe we could actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe people would listen and
Yes.
would like it.
Yes. And we did also say that, because we're together a lot of the time
Yeah.
with work and stuff like that, but we also wanted to have like a place where we just have fun, hang out, and get to know each other a little bit more.
Yeah.
But then be a little bit more purposeful with it. So we're like,
Absolutely.
we're hanging out, but also we're doing something productive.
Yeah.
That's why we started a
And
podcast.
I have learned things about you. Despite being friends for 12 years.
Exactly.
I've learned new information.
We've learned
which
so
is
many
fun.
new information the past 6 months.
Absolutely.
That's a good question.
It's been a good time. Do you want to ask a question or do you want me to ask another one? I can ask
you
a follow-up to that question,
Yeah, you could
actually.
ask
The
a
follow-up was, are you glad you did?
Yes!
I think it's been a lot of fun. I definitely have the easier part of it because Thea does all of the editing. So it's much easier for me. I just come with an idea and Thea has to figure out how to make it happen, which is obviously harder. But I've been having a lot of fun. I hope that's true for you
Me too. I think it's so exciting. I mean, the work is also like, I enjoy it and it's not like too much, but I am enjoying like doing something that I love. And it's just like, it's not like there's so much pressure in it. So
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. And I love that we get to do it together.
I truly would not do this with anyone else. I would not.
Me crying
would
and
not have
weeping
actually
while
done
in a
it.
duck.
Crying in a
But
duck.
also, I'm just looking at those people right now and I feel so bad because it feels like they're getting stuck.
I can't relate. We've
not
never been
us.
stuck in this
Not
duck.
us.
I think we've been nailing it the whole time.
Okay, next question.
Next question.
Next question. What is true friendship?
Ooh, that's good because our first episode was the power of a bit in friendship, like a
Yes.
good way to get us started. I think jumping off of that, true friendship is it's got to go beyond bits. Is you have real friendship when you can cry together, you
Yes.
can really lean on each other, but can still laugh together.
Yes.
Like really having that balance
Yes.
is when you've reached a new level.
Yeah. And I think like having disagreements and like conflict, like getting through those things is I think what helps make friendship feel like a true friendship.
Yeah.
Like being able to overcome them together. Like
Yeah.
the way that you respond to those kinds of things when it comes up. So
And this is a little bit of a hot take. I do think true friendship takes time.
It
I think you
does.
can meet someone and immediately feel like there's a connection here.
Yes.
Like we're going to be friends.
Yes.
And I think that's real and I think that's good.
Yeah.
I do think that I don't want to say more like value or more work, because that's not true. All friendships are valuable.
yes.
But there's definitely a different level of, we've been friends for a week and
Yeah.
it's been immediate connection versus we've been a friend for a year.
Yes.
There really is something that time strengthens it because it shows that relationship can really weather time and circumstance.
Yeah, and I think that is a true statement. It does take time. I mean, I've had friendships where we've been friends since we were children, but right now our friendship is not the same, but we're still friends.
Yeah.
Like whenever we see each other, we're still like time hasn't passed.
Yeah.
We're able to pick up from where we left off. So.
And to pick up and go into something new.
yes,
And not just be
Yeah,
like,
that's
hey,
good.
remember 8 years ago? That was good.
yeah,
And just stay there, but really move into more things.
yes.
I'm also realizing in real time, we're gonna have some crazy footage because
I know.
it's
It's just like going
gonna
like
be
this.
shaky, but I
You
hope
know
the
what?
vibes
We're
are
still
good.
learning.
I hope the vibes are still good, guys.
Yes.
We're only 6 months in. We have more
Only
to learn.
6 months, and we're very spontaneous, famously.
Famously so spontaneous.
Okay, it says, if you knew tomorrow was your last day to live and know the exact time, what would you do and why?
Ooh.
It's pretty deep.
I feel like my answer's kind of cheesy, but like the first thing that I thought is I would want to eat like my favorite meal. I would want to do an activity that I love doing, and I would want to be with my family. Like I would want to be with the people I love,
Yeah.
doing the things I love, eating the things that I love,
Yes.
and then getting real cozy in bed and going night night. That would be my plan, my goal, my dream.
I think it's so funny because in my head I was like, I don't think I will ever do something like crazy. I think I would just like live my life like I'm living it now.
Yeah.
But a little bit more intentional because I know exactly when the time is.
Yeah.
So I think preparing, I guess, myself for that, like if I, like for my family and stuff, like maybe leaving letters
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But I don't think I would ever do anything like, oh, I've got to go like to New York or something and like fulfill a bucket list.
Well, I think that's a good thing though, because
So-
I think that means that you're essentially living the life you want to be living right now.
Yes.
Is that you're not saying, man, there's all these things that I'll do one day, I'll get to it. You're like, I'm pretty much living the life I want to live,
Yes.
which is great.
It's great.
Go
Awesome.
us.
Let's go.
We're in a duck. We are living the life we want to be
if I
living.
knew tomorrow, this would be the best thing that I
Oh
would
my
do with my
goodness.
last day.
Chaos.
Answering questions in a duck.
The dream. The dream.
All right, do you have another question for us?
Yeah. This is another podcast related question. What's been the hardest podcast to record?
Ooh, like,
So that I think we could probably answer that because they didn't specify. That could be like maybe like the episode content, or maybe just like I would imagine recording wise, the dance one was probably one of the hardest ones to actually like manage from like start to finish.
yeah, I think like the technical parts of it, that one trying to figure out like how we can do that effectively in a podcast form, because there's like clips of videos
Yeah.
and adventure that we went on. I think that one, I'm thinking if there's like emotionally, if there's something hard that we've recorded for me. I think not like hard in a sense that it was difficult, but the emotions of the first episode, I think
The
for me, yeah. The nerves of like, are we doing it right? Is
Yeah.
this okay? Like, is this entertaining? Is this something that, you know?
Yeah.
I think that is like, not the hardest, but I think the initial,
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
funny. I felt similarly about our navigating our 20s episodes. Again, not because I felt like I felt like it was our first like
Guest.
real attempt at like we want to be a little more serious.
Right.
And I know that I felt like, man, how much do I want to share? How much do I want to be vulnerable? And it was still kind of figuring out what that was going to look like.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of set a tone for us of what do we want to do? And I think that's in general always the hardest for me because it's very easy for me to start just talking. So for me to be like, okay, do I actually want to say that right now?
Right.
Like, how deep do I want to get? And I think that was our first one where it was like navigating our 20s. How much do I want to talk about feeling lost and sometimes disappointed about my 20s?
Yeah.
How much do I actually want to do that?
Yeah. At what point in your life did you know you wanted to pursue music?
Ooh, that's fun.
I think this is interesting.
Yeah. I know we talk about it a lot on the podcast, but in case you guys didn't know, at one point, Thea fully studied music to completion. I did it for a year, and then I said, I'm good.
And then she went to English.
And then I went to English.
But I think for me, before university or before college of some sort, I took a gap year right after high school because I didn't know like what I wanted my career to be in. But in that gap year, I knew I wanted it to be related to music of some sort. So I wasn't like, oh, I need to be a performer, I need to be an artist, I need to be a teacher. I wasn't like that at all. So like when I went through community college, I just started taking music classes until I ended up with a full-on bachelor's degree in music education.
Hey, sometimes that happens.
So there you go. That's how I pursue
you stumble
music.
upon it.
No, but music has been a part of my life since childhood, and I just knew that I wanted my career to be related to music. So
Yeah.
Whatever,
I love that.
however it is related to it. So
I love that.
how about you?
I feel like I initially studied it for a similar reason, is I knew I did not want to be a performer. That wasn't my goal, my dream, my passion.
Yeah.
But I did know that I loved music, and I loved music, and I loved English. But honestly, I had a music teacher who was just really impactful in my life. And I was like, man, if I could do that for other people, I want to.
Yeah.
So I want to pursue music and I want to teach people how to do it. And then as I went, I still do feel passionate about that.
Right.
But I also realized that I was like, man, I love music so much, but taking exclusively music classes is actually making me like it less because it's becoming like a chore.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I get
no,
that.
I love music and I don't want to ever feel like music is a chore.
Yeah.
And when I swapped to English, I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel like English was a chore.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, music will be my hobby and it'll be my lifelong pursuit, but it's not going to be, I keep forgetting I'm holding this, but it's not going to be my source of like career fulfillment.
Right.
But it was still a fun time and I enjoyed it.
It is one time.
Shout out Dr. Daner.
Shout out. I do. Yeah, I agree. Like sometimes it's hard where it seems like your passion is also like your source of income.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
A dog.
a dog. Pause.
Pause for dog.
There's a golden doodle.
Pause for dog. We'll be here all week.
See him.
I hope you can see him.
I hope you can see him.
He's really cute. Good boy.
But the wind is taking us somewhere.
We're being very spontaneous.
Are we successful wind riders now?
I think so.
Okay, sort of follow-up question with that one. Are you happy with the professions you chose?
Oh, that's funny because neither of us are currently doing like what we studied.
Yeah.
Because we both work at the church,
Yes.
which is funny. I think I am. I actually, to get deep for a second, I was recently talking to someone, and he asked me he didn't ask me what are my goals. He asked me, do you have goals? And I thought, oh, that's interesting. Because sometimes people are like, oh, where do you want to see yourself in 5 years? And you start laying on a plan. He was like, do you have a place where you want to get? Or are you like, I'm good where I am?
It's a good
Was kind of the way that it made me think. And I realized, kind of to my surprise, that I was like, I actually really love working at the church. And not that I thought I didn't like it, but when I took the job, it was kind of like, hey, this is like a stopover while I try to get to whatever the next part is.
Yeah.
And I realized when he asked me that I was like, wow, I think this is a stopover to where I want to be, but it's not pivoting into something different. It was kind of the realization of like, yeah, I think I want to pursue ministry and that I want to work in the church and that I want to build the church and realizing like, oh, this actually is where I want to be.
Yeah.
And my goal is to keep pursuing that path rather than make a hard pivot into something else. So I was kind of surprised to learn that I really am happy with this career that I didn't consciously choose, but where I ended up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I think for me, short answer, simple, yes, I am happy with the professions I chose. But getting to where I am now, I think I was just like along the lines when I started like going to college and everything, trying to figure out where I want to be. There were definitely like two clear lanes of where I could go, because I did music education, so I could go like, oh, I thought I would be like teaching in like high schools and all of these things, conducting blah blah blah. But also I'm in like worship ministry, and also it's kind of the same but not, where I get to like arrange and like do set list and conduct, as you say, like you know, like it's very similar but also not. But I'm very happy because I'm just like trying to get to where God wants me to be.
Yeah.
So when I graduated, I had thoughts of like, okay, this is where I should be, and this is a clear like line in society of where I need to get to. But after prayer and just like asking the Lord where He wants me, I decided not to pursue that, but stay in ministry. So
I have a kind of related follow-up to that, which is there a moment in your life that made you say, if you had told me like 5 years ago that you were going to be here, I wouldn't have believed you.
That's like, a good follow-up question.
Like, do you like both with job or with anything where you're like, wow, I'm kind of surprised with where my life is? Or are you like, no, I always knew? No,
I am actually surprised of where my life is. I'm like, 5 years ago, I wouldn't think I would be right where I'm at.
In a duck.
In a duck, answering questions. With my best friend.
Let's go.
Just being spontaneous. I did not think I would be here, honestly. No, but yeah, that's like one of the things I'm like, I didn't think this was possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I never would have thought that I was working at the church. I never would have thought that I live where I live.
Yeah.
I definitely, I don't know, 5 years ago, but like 10 years ago, Maya thought she would have been living in like Oregon. That would have definitely been what I would have thought. I thought I'd been a music teacher in Oregon.
Yeah.
If you had asked like, I don't know, like 18-year-old Maya, where is she going to be in life? That's where I would have thought.
Yeah.
And instead, I'm here working at the church, riding a duck.
Which is still great.
Doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Definitely not places where I thought I would have ended up, but are almost certainly better than where I thought I would have been.
Yes. I thought, what did I think I would be in 5 years? Yeah, I thought I would have been like finished with education. I was thinking maybe I would have pursued immediately like a master's degree or something, and would have like taught.
Yeah.
Like what I was saying earlier of being like in school teaching. And all of those, like I was thinking I would still serve. Yeah. Like I would still be in ministry, but not in this way. So it's just like, wow, God, like look at where you've taken me.
Never would have thought I'd be working at the church. No. Definitely thought I would be like a full-time like choir teacher at a high school.
Yeah. But it's amazing. It is amazing though, like the things that we do. Yeah. And just like the amount of growth I've also had like personally, like relationally, personally, like even in, I'm happy where I am.
I love it. All right, another podcast question. What have we learned about ourselves during this podcasting process? Anything new that you've discovered about yourself?
I think one of the things that I keep thinking about is like I think I have a pretty good work ethic. But in terms of like personal projects, for some reason, I do get paralyzed because I get scared, like fear of failure and rejection. So when we started the podcast, one of the things that I said to myself, I'm like, this is a passion project that I have that I will be consistent on and committed even when I'm scared. Yeah. And so that's one of the things that I'm really proud of myself, is that we've been super consistent even when it felt like like maybe it won't work out. Like, if that makes sense. So I've learned that yes, I can be consistent with things that I want to do, like for myself.
I love that. I think that I've learned that I'm way more of a planner than I ever thought I was.
No, Maya, we're very spontaneous.
We're very spontaneous, and also I'm way more of a planner than I ever realized because I think when we first pitched the idea of the podcast, we were like, yeah, we're just going to talk and we're going to kind of see where the conversation goes. And then pretty quickly I was like, what if we like not obviously script out what's going to happen, but like we'll have a little bit of like a roadmap, and I'm going to come in with facts. And I realized like, I'm more of a planner. I think even in a funny way, you know, people joke like, oh, once a teacher, always a teacher.
Yes.
I've really realized how much, it's so weird, that I love teaching via this, because I feel like with a lot of topics or conversation, I'm like, yes, I want to have it planned and I want to explain it. And I'm like, wow, that really is something that I'm passionate about, and I will find a way to do it in literally any aspect of my life, which I thought was funny to realize.
Yes, I love that. All right. Our last question in the duck.
Ooh.
We're going through. Yes, that one.
Our last question. Sorry, I put my phone away because I'm focused. Are there any podcast topics that y'all can be looking forward to? And we do have some fun ones. We love doing holiday-specific ones.
Yes.
We do have a really fun one that I'm very excited for around Thanksgiving, where we're going to do an interactive one where we're going to make dinner together and talk about the power of like sharing a meal and like fellowship while we cook something delicious and eat together. And I'm excited about food-based content.
Yes. We're also planning to have maybe a couple more people join us for the podcast. So that will be a surprise for the next 6 months.
Secrets.
We'll see. We'll see what we come up with. But
be on the lookout.
It's going to be so fun.
We do have so many ideas, and I don't think we've ever said this before on podcast. We are open to suggestions.
Yes.
If you have things that you want to hear about,
let us know.
Tell us, and we will very happily see if there's a way we can get it. Oh no, the wind!
The wind is getting us.
The wind's getting us. Alright, we are back. We are out of the duck.
We have hoodies and cardigans on because it's so cold.
The weather has changed.
It drastically changed.
But we have more questions.
We have more Q&As.
Oh, this is a fun one. If you could travel anywhere at no cost, but you had to leave today with whatever you have, where would you go?
That's a hard question for me because I want to go everywhere. I truly do want to go everywhere. My first initial thought was Korea because I, for so long, want to go there. But did it say...
you have to leave today with whatever you have on you. You do have food on you at this moment.
I do.
You have a sweatshirt?
But it didn't say, like, at no cost.
Yeah, it's completely free. No
cost. Free, no cost. I think I would go to Switzerland.
Ooh!
Just because I know it's so expensive. But also, the views there, immaculate. Just beautiful. So I think I would go to Switzerland instead.
That's smart. I'm trying to think, what am I dressed for?
Hold on. I really want to go to Switzerland like this.
I mean, you've got your swimsuit.
You know what? I think I need to think about this more.
I think I want to go to Greece so badly. I think I'm wearing sandals that are comfortable. I'm wearing comfortable pants.
Overalls is pretty greasy.
I could and I'm thinking of Mamma Mia, which is why I'm thinking I'm with you. Yeah. I have a sweater in case I get cold, and I have a water bottle.
And what are the odds that people are gonna
I have money. I could buy.
Yeah, you could buy clothes.
I would go to Greece. I would go to that little island, and I would reenact all of Mamma Mia by myself. And by that, I would have to bring my sister-in-law with me. She loves Mamma Mia.
I stick to Switzerland.
I like it. I support you.
I want to go to Switzerland. I want to go get Swiss chocolate and Swiss knives. Moving on.
We're going to clip that of just me going...
Moving on. Next question.
Next question.
Oh, this one kind of relates to, I guess, traveling. How do you navigate... I think it's more for me probably, but you can also answer it. How do you navigate the language from English to the country of origin to my like maybe if you're bilingual you have two languages.
I mean, I'm
even if it's not country.
Languages, so this makes sense.
You're fluent in Spanish.
Let's not lie on the podcast.
You're like, don't say that.
I'm gonna get called out by the people who listen to us who speak Spanish, and no, I don't. I am not
She
fluent.
doesn't.
I'm fluent in my heart.
I take it back, I guess.
I can read in Spanish.
You can.
That's helpful.
I know some words and phrases in Spanish.
How do you navigate? How do you largely?
So how do I navigate? I don't know exactly how to answer this question because I feel like famously I say this all the time where I'm not fluent in English nor am I fluent in Tagalog.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which
I'm like
is a lie.
I have no language. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
have no language.
I think at this point in my life because I grew up learning both at the same time, it just comes naturally. But what's difficult is feeling like sometimes the switch. Like sometimes I feel like I lose words. I know the words, but in the moment I lose them. If that makes sense. So I guess just going with the flow of whatever happens with the way I speak. I think I've come to terms that okay. Language. Navigating it, I've just had to accept. I think that sometimes my language is different. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because there are words in Tagalog or Filipino that are used in a different way that you would use them in
Yeah.
American English,
Yeah.
even California English.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like
that's a different language.
trying to just navigate that and knowing how to switch, when to
Yeah.
switch. Like how I speak with my family in English and Filipino is different than how I speak with a Filipino American.
Yeah.
Or even to a Maya, or even to a podcast. Like it will slip here and there, but I've just come to accept that it
But-
will happen. So
I mean, I can answer as a non-bilingual person, but as someone who has like attempted to learn other languages, and I know that I will always do the thing where I'll read a sentence, usually in Spanish, because it's my secondary language that I don't know very well. But I'll read a sentence in Spanish, and I'll translate it into my head in English, and then I'll think of what my response is in English, and then I translate that into Spanish. So I like do a like, which is why I hate speaking Spanish in public because it takes me so long to get there because it's just not a muscle I use very often.
yeah.
So I know that I'm much more content to read or write, and I feel like my frustration is often, I'm sure you feel this way too, is that I'm like, I can't grab the word I want.
Yes.
Is I'm like, I want to say, someone asks me a question, they go, how are you? And I want to go, oh, I'm doing fantastic.
Yes.
And sometimes I'm like, yeah, fantastico. And sometimes
Yeah.
I want to be like, oh, I'm superb. And I'm like,
Yeah. What is
"Pero?"
that?
No, that can't be right. And it's me going, I'm great.
Yeah.
Es bien.
I'm okay.
I just
Like
have
the
to
most
set-
basic.
I have to settle, which makes me sad. And sometimes that's just like a dig to my personal pride. But I need to let go of.
Yeah, you just have to be like me and accept the fact that sometimes you have no language.
Well, you know what? Tell me more about you, because I would like you to answer. If you had to describe yourself using a meal, what would it be?
Using a meal.
Yep. I do have an answer if you want time to
Okay,
think.
go answer because I need time to think.
I think I would describe myself as lunch, because I think that for lunch, you have a lot of different options of what you can get. Some people do like breakfast for lunch. You can get a hamburger, you can get a salad. It's usually like you can do a variety of sandwiches, and I feel like that's me. I feel like I'm a variety of different options depending on the mood. I'm something quick, I'm something easy, but you can make a meal out of me if you want. I
Okay.
think that's kind of my vibe as a person.
Okay, I think my vibes as a person would be dinner.
Okay.
Because I feel like I'm a person who is like could adapt to like situations or like
Ooh.
people well.
Okay.
Like I feel like I'm able to like fit myself in sometimes, so depending on who I'm with.
Okay.
And so with dinner, you can have breakfast for dinner.
That's
I can be heavy sometimes or light depending on what you want. But I feel like I'm a dinner or a midnight snack.
Ooh.
But
You are
leaning
a snack there.
yeah, I'm a
You're a
snack. I think I'm leaning now, thinking about it more as a midnight snack because I'm something like you can have anytime, but maybe feel guilty for it later. I can have a little sass in me sometimes.
That sassy
But I
midnight
could be
snack.
refreshing or sassy, depending on what midnight snack you have. When you wake up, you might regret it later.
That's so good.
I don't know how I got there, but
I
we
love
got
it.
there.
I love where we're at. I love the chaos.
Okay. Oh, this is a little bit more serious, but still
Ooh.
fun. If you had the choice, you want kids.
Oh.
You either could have 10 kids or have 0 kids. In your lifetime, what would you choose?
So many kids.
So you can only have 10
I
kids
10 or 0.
or 0 in your whole lifetime. I
This is that's so
I do want to be a mom at some point. I just don't know if I want to birth 10 kids.
Can I adopt some?
I think the question did not say we can't.
Can I spread them out? Can I be like do I have to have like for 10 years straight? Do I have to be pregnant, or can I adjust?
Can you imagine?
Can you
Can you imagine?
And that's all we have for copyright.
Yep. I think I would rather have 10 kids than 0. I'll just make it simple. My mom has 7.
I can spread them out.
I think we can. I can also adopt. It didn't say I couldn't.
Yeah.
So, if I had all the money in the world and it's all possible and it's reasonable for me to have 10 kids, I will choose 10 kids.
And here's the thing. You and your husband, now you're an even dozen. And isn't that fun that you're 12 people now?
So every time we go on trips, we need to have 2 vans.
So many vans.
That's so many. You see?
But I want
Okay,
kids.
I'll choose 10 kids.
Fine.
I'll choose 10 kids.
This isn't legally binding, though. I just
No.
want to make that clear. I am not promising anyone
I'm not
10
saying I will have 10 kids.
I'm not promising anyone 10 kids.
By the question, I'm just saying.
Insane. Okay,
I'd rather have 10 kids.
this is another podcast question, which is fun. I don't know if we have an answer for it. If you could, if your podcast could collaborate with any other podcast,
Ooh.
what would it be?
That's fun.
Man.
I
I just have podcasts that I like, but I'm like, would it even make sense for
I
us
do
to be
too.
buddies? Or is it just silly?
One possible one
Mm-hmm.
that I think would just match
Like the vibes?
the vibe
Uh-huh.
and like content and stuff is That's Joy podcast by Cece Carbonera. I love her. Her podcast is so fun. But I think that could be like something possible. But other ones though, this is purely.
I'm ready for whatever you're about to say. I'm so ready for
I
it.
love Stephanie Sue. So a Rotten Mango podcast, storytelling, but I will be her kind of like hubby. I would like be
Yes,
the
yes.
husband where I'm just like behind the scenes and I just react.
Yes.
So you and Stephanie could definitely go for the storytelling,
And you're
and
gonna
I will
be
just
like,
vibe with
"Oh,
Stephanie's husband.
Tell me more.
Exactly. That's mine. What about you?
Man,
There's so many podcasts that I'm
again,
like, it's
I
hard.
have kind of like a dumb answer where I really like Lisa Harper. I just think
Let's go.
I just like her and Allison. I
Yes.
think they're fun. And I'm like, yeah, I'll
Let's-
sit and talk theology with
Let's
you.
have Lisa Harper on the pod, please.
I was like, you would never be on our podcast, but and I don't know why you would invite us to be on yours, but I'll be
in
there.
a certain universe,
And then
the power
I
of theology.
love my little gaming and
Yes.
role playing
Yes.
podcast. So I'm like, I don't know. Emily Axford, hit me up.
Yes, please.
Again, I don't know why.
I feel like I
don't-
would just sit there for both Lisa Harper and Emily Axford. I would just sit there and like adore them.
I do think in like more of like a realistic, like what is it called? On Being Human.
Mm.
Yeah. On Being is what it is.
Mhm.
Is like there's I think talk show based podcasts would probably be more of like what we would do
Vibes.
well at.
Yeah.
But also I think we would love just to be on a chaotic, like we're going to play a game or tell a story and you're just here. And it's like, okay, we're in it. We're in whatever this is. That could be crazy. Maybe one day. Maybe one day we'll be cool enough that we'll...
Dream big, right? Dream big.
Absolutely.
Next question.
If you could only listen to one artist for the next 3 years,
what are these questions? Why are they so difficult?
Ooh, 3 years.
One artist for the next 3 years?
Well, you can play a numbers game. Maybe like, who's producing a lot of music? Who's going to give me the most options?
Oh, shoot.
Like, you know, Noah Kahan's collaborating with like 18 people right now. So like, I'd get a lot of... Psych. You know, I'm going to get some of the people I like. I do feel like I could just listen to like Noah Kahan or like Hosier for like ever. Mm-hmm. I always call him, I don't know if it's Hosier or Hosier. I always like to say it both ways. Andrew. Just call him by his first name.
My first thought was Lizzie McAlpine or Noah Kahan.
I like that.
I think Lizzie McAlpine is my first. She's
your first love.
Yeah. The tone of her voice, I could just listen to her. Whatever she sings, I feel like she can just make it like great.
Yeah.
So I know she's only like released an album or two, but I could listen to that.
They're
forever.
good albums, though.
They're really good.
Like, it's not like you're like, oh, I got to deal with that album.
I know they're still amazing. So I'll say Lizzie McAlpine.
I like it. I think I'd go Noah Kahan. I don't think he has a song that I'm like skip. And he has a lot of demos, so you know
he does.
I could really go a long time with his demos and EPs.
Also, my way of putting in Broadway in that is Lizzie McAlpine because she just sings a lot of Broadway covers.
See, and I'm like, Noah has collabed with Lizzie.
Yes.
So I'm like, I got him. Got him.
We all win.
We all win.
Yeah. Also, like, look how beautiful. If you're not on video,
look at
how beautiful this is. See?
It's so pretty.
So pretty.
So pretty.
And my footage is shaky, but also it's still pretty. Who was most inspiring or had the most influence to you as a teenager and young adult? Like, slash young adult. It's not like an influential person or most inspiring as a teenager and young adult.
I talked a little bit about my choir teacher who really impacted me in high school. Really did a lot for me. I'm thinking of like closer to like mentors. Like there were a couple of people I had in the church who really took me in as like a little sister.
Yeah.
And did a lot for like taking me places and helping me kind of figure out like my style and like the things I was interested in.
Yeah.
So definitely some of those like different mentors I think had a lot of impact on me, I think.
Yes. For me, teenager, I was very shy. And so my comfort zone was a lot of the older people around me. So definitely being in church, the community I had. A dog?
No.
Oh.
I thought it was and I got excited. I was wrong. It's just a rock.
Oops. Just a rock. But yeah, for me, it was the older people I was around with. The older ladies at church. I love you guys. And like my mentors and my pastors at church. My parents were very influential in my life as a teenager, but also as a young adult. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, did I ever tell you about the story when I went out with Vani and her credit card wasn't going through initially, and we thought that we were gonna have to clean dishes in the back to pay for our food because it wasn't working, and then the card did go through. It was their machine, not us.
Oh my god!
But there was a brief moment that we did like a mentorship in youth where we had young adults. They like partnered us with like different older people, and Bonnie was my little person, was my buddy, and we would go to the coast. And then there was that one time where I thought I was gonna clean dishes. She was like, "Your mom's never gonna let you go out here with me again.
We're not gonna live this down." Yeah, that's cute. One. Yeah. As a young adult, I mean, even my family is influential in my life, but I'm thinking more like outside of that still. Yeah. Because I feel like that's pretty obvious.
Yeah. I didn't say you, mom or dad, because that's a given.
Yeah, it's a given. As a young adult, there is a professor in music that he just had a very like carefree like attitude, but also very like caring towards his students. And so I like his passion for music and passion for what he does like really inspired me to go for my own passions. So
I love that.
that guy.
That guy. Shout out to you.
Shout out to you. He was a jazz professor. It was very fun.
I have another podcast related question. Who is your dream podcast guest and Jesus doesn't count?
Jesus doesn't count.
Can't have Jesus. I mean, don't clip that. We aren't allowed to invite him to be a guest star on our podcast.
So can we invite like? So I'm guessing you could invite.
I think it's just anyone.
Anybody, even when they've passed from this world.
Yeah, I think so.
I think a lot of our friends.
Yeah.
I would love to get on the pod.
Be expecting messages. Some of you already know.
Some of you already know.
We said this earlier as a joke, but dream podcast guests, our nieces and nephews.
True.
Just full chaos mode.
I did also say that I want JJ to be on.
Dream big gift for the podcast. My
big
dad. Hey, if you're interested, hit us up.
Yes. Yeah, that would be my answer. Or the other that's just floating right there.
So this can be kind of like a combination, because I know we've got a few variations of this, which is how does your faith play into your life decisions? What's like the biggest hurdle you've overcome this year, or like what are things that you're facing? So that could kind of be a combination of like, how does your faith interact with your life, and also with like challenges? How do you approach those?
That's huge. I think how my faith affects my life decisions, right? Hugely. I think it's the top filter of everything in my life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where even tiny decisions filters through it. Like simple ones, like I guess like I'm thinking like schedule or planning wise, or what will I do today, or things like that. Like a lot of my decisions, like people would say like tiny decisions, mundane decisions that you would make, it filters through the Holy Spirit, through Jesus, and like all of that. So I'm thinking, it's huge. That's how it affects my life.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. It's the filter in which I make all decisions.
Yeah.
Even like you said, mundane ones, just being like, oh, what am I going to do today? I'm basing it around, well, I have worship practice on this day, and I'm going to church on this day.
Yes.
And, oh, well, before I make that big move, I need to take time to like pray and fast, because I haven't been doing that. Like it filters in everything, and kind of transitioning into like the biggest hurdle, I guess. And I don't know if hurdle's the right word, but definitely like something I've been going through in general this year has been like dating and relationships. And my faith has played in massively in that. First and foremost, I won't date someone who's not a Christian. So that's always the lens. But I've even been trying to be really intentional about taking time, not just like, oh, I'm going to pray in your Bible, but praying and reading my Bible and like intentionally seeking counsel on relationships.
Yeah.
And I do feel like over the year, in doing that, I've gotten more peace. I feel like I've gotten more clarity, that there have been people that I've been talking to, and I'm like, I just don't feel settled, and held the confidence to like pull out, where like things like that have really helped me. So I don't know if that's like the biggest hurdle of the year, but it's definitely been something that's been on my mind, and my faith has really been crucial in helping me overcome that and move beyond it, which I haven't overcome at the time of this recording. Not dating, not engaged, not married. Unless something insane happens in between now and release.
Honest. That's honest. I think for me too, but relationship wise, but not really more just dating. I think more like friendship and family relationships. I think I'm realizing some like values that I have that maybe I've adapted, and really seeing like, is this really something that matches with my faith, if that makes sense. So a lot of that is happening with me, but also I think a big one would be more personal. like personal growth, like the way
Yeah.
that I think, my mental health, like how I overcome insecurities, I guess, in stepping into different kind of responsibilities and feeling like there's a lot more weight put on me a little bit. Yeah, just trying to handle that and trying to navigate like relationships in that kind of way, and maybe like conflict in relationships.
So scary.
I know, it's heavy. It's a lot.
I like it.
Yeah, so yeah, relationships and even loss. Yeah, that's a huge thing
Oh yeah.
for me. Me saying that right now too, just like, yeah, different kinds of them too this year. So
And now we just pan back to the otters for comfort.
for a second.
They're really so cute. Oh, man.
Yeah, but faith really is something that, not just faith, but like Jesus really is holding me through it all. Like the person of Jesus, the presence of Jesus, not just like his word and his truth. It's coupled with really spending time with him and knowing that he's real and that he's right there with me. So his word and that, but also the realities of him surrounding me with people is such a huge thing that is helping me with my faith and with my life decisions. So yeah, I feel like that rounds everything out.
I love it.
Was there ever a time where you were losing faith?
Ooh.
If so, how did you overcome it?
Ooh, that is a deep one. I don't think I have a specific moment where I was like in full, like I've had plenty of crisis moments.
Yeah.
But I strangely feel like in most of those crisis moments, it didn't feel like, and God's nowhere because he's not there.
Yes.
Like that was never the feeling. I do remember very distinctly, I think probably like the lowest point of my life was my freshman year of college. Just so much anxiety, so much adapting, being in a major that even though I loved it, it was like not good for me. Dealing with relationships and just all of the things, all of the stress. My mental health was not good. It was all in that. But I think it was funny is it was not necessarily a period where I thought I'm going to lose my faith, but it was more, I clung so desperately to it because I felt like I was losing everything else. So it was like, okay. And I had so many moments over, not just that year, but even the next year, because my grandfather passed that next year. And it was so much time of me going to, there was a little chapel on campus and I would go in there all by myself. No one was ever there.
Yeah.
And I would go into the room and just sit on the ground and couldn't even pray. I would just cry because I was so overwhelmed with everything.
Yeah.
And it was very much, not to be like pretentious, but it definitely was like my David moment of like in the cave crying out to the Lord. And in a similar way, not a like, hey, you're not here and I don't believe in you, but in a like, I need you to show up because I've got nothing else kind of thing. So that was definitely a real turning point. I definitely came out the other side with a deep assurance of he's got me no matter what. But it was not a fun journey. Not a fun journey.
Yeah. No, it isn't. We laugh now, but
we laugh now so
we
that we don't cry.
We laugh about it. I wouldn't say there wasn't ever a time that I feel like I'm losing like faith. I think like, you know, you would have just like random moments where you're like, is this real? Like sometimes I would just have like a random thought, but I'm like, no, it is, because we overcome by the blood of the Lamb, the power of our testimony, and just the way that I have experienced the Lord in my own personal life ever since I was a child, but also in seeing him in other people's lives. It's just like knowing other people's stories, like my mom's, like I'm not even gonna go farther away, right? Like my family story is just something that I'm like, no, it couldn't have been just like human or coincidence. It's literally, there is a God who loves us and cares for us and takes care of us. So I don't think I've ever like fully felt like, oh, I'm losing like my faith. But I think
hard moments.
There are hard moments, yes. But I think if there's something that I'm like a hard season in my life is one when I was in university.
Mhm.
I think I've always, speaking of like profession or career or choosing what to do in life,
Mhm.
I've always looked to the Lord, but
Mhm.
also questioned him a lot. I'm just
Yeah.
like, okay, God, I know this is where you want me, but why can't I do this? Like seeing other people just like go for the things, and I'm like, why don't I just go for it? But then now looking back, it's realizing that, oh, it's because God has put this in my heart
Yeah.
to really be with him
Yeah.
and be in his will, and that's the best for me.
Yeah.
And knowing that he'll get me to my dreams and get me to where he wants me eventually. But also like right now I am living
Yeah.
the dreams and the prayers that little Althea had. Like I
Yeah.
didn't know that it was possible to do graphic business and music all at the same time.
And here you
Before I
are.
came to university, I thought I was gonna go into like business marketing,
Yeah.
but I knew that I wanted to be in music, so I chose music.
Yeah.
But God like melded all together and like gave me a space where I
Yeah.
could do all the things that my heart wants to do.
Love it.
Although it's too hard at times, it's still difficult, but
Yeah.
I am in an answered prayer. I'm living an answered prayer. So
I love that.
I don't know if that answers like how do you overcome losing your faith. If I go back to that question, it really is holding to his word and his promises,
Yeah.
and really leaning on the people around me, and
Absolutely.
just running after the Lord instead of running the other way.
Yes.
I've had to just choose to run to him instead of wanting to run somewhere else. So that's how I overcame it. Run to the Lord as fast as you can.
Okay, even you saying that made me laugh because you're like, we have a lot of questions about like what he's doing. And I think there was a period in time where I didn't talk to God. I just yelled at God. And it wasn't even an argument, because the argument I was listening. I was like, no, you don't get to speak. It's my turn. It's my turn to talk.
It's just me.
It's my turn to talk.
Yeah.
I really feel a kinship to Job yelling at God.
Being like, why?
Being like, and another thing.
And here
and
you
then
go.
God being like, yeah, I'll let you finish.
Yes.
All right, my turn. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Really feel that in my soul.
So really inviting the Lord in all of your seasons, even though you don't feel like inviting him.
Yeah.
But still, I think the intention of, I think that's just having a relationship with people too, right?
Very true.
Yeah. You just get to choose them all the time. So choose Jesus all the time.
So we have been going through the power of Q&A, and we've got one last question here.
One last one.
Which is, what type of impact are you hoping to make on your podcast audience?
Do you want to go first?
I think, in all honesty, I have not thought a whole lot about impact of, not that I'm like, I don't care if the audience likes it, but I think we've been so focused, or I'll say I've been so focused, I won't speak for you. I've been so focused on just wanting to put something out that like I'm proud of and that like I would want to listen to. But I think if I, zoomed back and looked at even just what the concept was, which is we want to use our shared experience, but also our different perspectives to come together and have like engaging conversations and bring in new perspectives.
Yeah.
So I think that would be what I would want the impact to have, is I would want people to listen and consider new perspectives, to feel seen in the podcast and go, yeah, that's the way I feel.
Yeah.
Or think, wow, I've never heard anyone say that before. I wonder if that's a way to look at things, and to start looking at people around them and thinking, how can we combine our powers to get to new places?
I love that. So eloquent. That's why I said go first. No, honestly, for me, I think I'm the same. Like the first, like the forefront of it is like us like just having fun.
Yes.
And like wanting to do something together. I think that's the main point of it. But if I'm thinking about audience and impact, I think that I would say I agree with all of those. But I also think because we're such a like our whole lives, like you just can't take away Jesus.
Yeah.
And you just can't take away faith.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes there would be so many like stereotypical like, oh, you're a Christian, you
Yeah.
must be
You
like
must be
this.
X, Y, and Z.
So I think
yeah.
me and my little heart is just like, hey, no, you can be fun and a Christian. You can like have these thoughts and experiences and a Christian. Like,
You can be
it
cool.
doesn't matter, you know? Like you can
Yeah.
like geeky
Yes.
stuff and nerdy stuff like us, but also be a Christian.
Yes.
Yeah. Like you can have fun and dance and do all of these like adventure and be a
Yeah.
Christian. So I think
the only fun things are not just go to church and go home. You can do
Exactly.
fun stuff.
yeah. So I think my little heart is just like breaking a little bit of stereotypes
Yeah. I love that.
for that, and like but that's also my answer.
I
That's
love
also
it.
another perspective. But
I love it.
yeah.
Well,
All right. That has been the power of
Q&A, questions
Q&A.
and answers.
um
I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something new about us.
Yeah.
If we didn't get to your question, we're sorry. We're trying to not make it go on for 2 hours. But this was fun. Maybe we'll do one again. So
Yeah, you
hang
can
in there.
comment down below or on our Instagram. Follow us at wopc.podcast, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. Like, share, subscribe, and rate us.
Absolutely.
Go do it. Share it with your friends.
If you want to answer any of the questions that we asked, feel free to
Yes.
hit them up in the comments.
That'd be so fun if you let us know like what your thoughts are.
Some of them were hard.
They were. Some of them
not
almost
seen
cried.
was us pausing and going, okay, what do you think?
But also, hey, did you not like that we were paddling while answering questions?
We said, what if we made this harder?
Yes. But that would be for our next episode, you would see why.
Yes.
I mean, it wasn't intentional, but also you would understand a little bit more why.
Yeah, so if you want to know why we were in a giant duck, watch the next episode.
Watch the next episode.
It'll be out
it's so
soon.
fun. All right. This has been your host, Althea.
And your host, Maya.
And we'll see you
Next time.
Bye.
We're getting so good at this. Let's
I know.
go.
Let's go.
6 months.
Last question. Who's your favorite in-law?
Well, I have so many. But I think I would probably have to say my sister-in-law. I think is probably my favorite
in-law is